There we go. Turn on the lighting and see if that makes a difference. Well, this ought to get me in trouble. This will get me in hot water with a lot of people. But I have a confession to make. One of the dark secrets from the vault of the Titanic of Michael Nelson's heart. I'm a grown man. I don't believe in evolution, as Charles Darwin and the what I call pseudoscientists taught. And by pseudoscience, I'm talking about atheists who hijacked the real science and turned it into a faith-based religion. Evolution is a faith-based religious belief where the atheist is God of his universe and that there is no God and that all this happened by random cosmic accident. It takes a huge amount of faith to believe that. In fact, it takes more faith to believe that than it does in the Genesis account. And I've covered that so many times, I'm not going to kick a dead horse. But there is an evolution that takes place within us as a society. When we go through things, there's environment, there's culture, there's what's called societal norms. Some of those transcend across the races, some of them do not. We got a dichotomy in this country going on right now. We're allowing people to come in rightfully and wrongfully that are bringing their culture and they're doing this to America. That's not good. That'd be like me being invited to go to, say, Austria, and the Australian government says, Michael, we like you. We're going to give you a job. We'll give you housing, and you can enjoy our country. I promise you this, if Austria gave me that privilege, I am out of here. I would live in Austria in a minute. And I'd be walking on those Alps going, the hills are alive, with the sound of Mike Nelson's YouTube. Ah. Yep. I would be enjoying Austria and I'd be doing videos sitting on top of the mountain, broadcasting to you my pontifications from afar. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about lesbians. I've talked to enough men and women. There are women on my channel that admitted they had a relationship with another woman. I think that's awesome. What, Mike, you're a Christian. Yep, I am. I love it when Christian pastors and Christian leaders try to say, people that live in sin are miserable. You got to be kidding me. Have you paid attention? Have you pulled your head out of your proverbial buns? Most people out there are living like the devil, and they seem to be doing just fine. That's the myth. The myth that if you're living in sin, you're miserable. If it were so, then people wouldn't sin, folks. If sin didn't feel good, if sin wasn't fun, nobody'd do it. Why do I like lesbians? Now, let me give a qualifier. If you were to have two women that look like dudes, sweaty, whatever, the short haircuts, they don't look like lipstick lesbians. I don't want to see them naked. I don't want to see them kissing. I don't want to see that. But two beautiful women with shirts off, hugging, embracing, and tongue kissing. Oh my gosh, is that fun to watch? It's beautiful. The passion, the bodies truly getting into it. And believe it or not, right or wrong, I've learned something from that. Most men don't know how to reach a woman sexually. They don't know how to do it. They bring their pogo stick to the party and they pogo into the girl, roll over, go to bed. The girl got nothing out of it. Guy drained his load. Bada boom, bada bing. Women are very different than us. And they're very sensitive. And I have found that with me, over the years, I've seen that petite, attractive women don't have an interest in Michael. And if they do, it's just to tease or get my attention, lead me on, and that's the end of it. But somebody's going to tell me I need to turn on the light. I don't know why. My speech is more important than my looks, but whatever. I do not support LGBT. And I need to make that distinction. I don't support marriage between two women or two men. That's not right. The Bible says it's not right. The Bible says the sexual act of same sex is not right. But I'm being honest about my humanity. I struggle with my flesh. And what society, secular and saved world society, fails to realize is we quote the Word of God, but if you think quoting Scripture at a systemic, environmental, upbringing, media, school, public education is going to undo some of the crap that's deeply entwined with our lives. So I had to go to a container, that goes on a ship, train, truck. We've got lots of them. And I go to pull those big double doors open. There are weeds and thorns and thistles, not thistles, but viney with very close together thorns. They grab your pants like a Westinghouse train brake. You're like, oh, nice. Don't grab it with your hand. Some of that's poison. And I'm walking. I had to get some stuff out of and put a pallet on the dirt road and walk through all this stuff. And a vine so little can wrap around my foot and it will knock you on your butt. It's amazing how tenacious a little vine is. Just like sin. Let us run the race before us. Let us not be entangled again until a yoke of slavery. Some people say, oh, that's talking about sin. Yes and no. It's also talking about a wrong belief. The Judaizers. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to get circumcised. Paul said, no, you don't. It is by grace. But all of us Christians are entangled in one way or another, the sin that easily entangles us. It takes work. I've worked in my yard. I got a lightning strike scar on my arm that you cannot see. Looks like an aerial view of Lake Powell with all the little side canyons and everything, and it's just zzz. Sumac. Hurricane Helene had damaged my already raggedy, crazy fence. And I thought, wow, we got 2 panels fell down and I can walk right in the neighbor's yard. I don't like that. So I set about tearing out the fence. That was an ordeal. Then I set about cutting down all the little trees on my side of the property that grew up. I thought, you got to get rid of the stumps so they keep growing back. They kept budding. And within the space of a month, and I go to cut and there's 10,000 gnats coming out in my face. I'm like, we got to get rid of this problem. So I got my pickaxe. I got my sharpshooter and I started chopping around it. Had 3 little, about that big, all grown together, coming up out of the ground. Man, I chopped one week and cut a big old crater around it. When I got into that, do you know how many roots were holding that dang thing to the ground? Hundreds. Some that big, some this big, and I'm using the pickaxe to chop. There's one, and you rock it. Yep, there's another one. You cut 2 more, another one. Finally, I got them, except one last tendril. I took the pickaxe and went, and I dragged this thing out on the ground, picked it up and went, and threw it. My roommate was laughing. She goes, that just looks like too much work. I said, girl, I'm getting sick of this. And you know what the analogy is? You got to get at the root to get rid of the tree. Some of these trees, you can cut them down, they'll go back. Cut it down, they'll go back. You ever notice that about weeds? Cut those weeds one more time, it'll come out and outshine. You got to pull it by the roots if you want to get it to quit. How do I get the sin out of my life? It's not easy. We live in a culture. Christian women, liberal women, doesn't matter who. I'm not worthy enough. I don't make enough money. I got glasses. I don't have the right hair. I don't have the right clothes. I don't have the right car. I don't drink Starbucks and talk about dogs. I'm not into SUVs. Somebody quit talking to me. A woman on my Discord quit talking to me because I said about the obsession with dogs, SUVs, and Starbucks. And made a not so nice comment to me. Okay, well, bye-bye. I'm not allowed to have my own mind. And she made sure to send me pictures of herself. She was a good-looking woman. I complimented her. Uh-oh. I broke the Taj Mahal rule. Never criticize what a woman likes. Don't do that, Mike. You just deep six yourself for getting anywhere close to that. Please. I'm not walking a tightrope of love, baby. There's a million women as good looking as you. And you know what I learned? I believe in adaptation. Anybody know what that is? Don't ask the evolutionists because they'll give you the wrong stuff. Adaptation, they say, proves evolution. No, it doesn't. For example, the Arctic fox is white in the winter to match the Arctic ice. And by the way, there's no foxes or any animals on Greenland except penguins. Penguins. They all show up in their tuxedos. They got a formal going on the Antarctic Ross and Ron ice shelf all the time. It is a gala event. The Arctic, you got polar bears. You got the Arctic fox. You got narwhals up there. It's basically a whale unicorn. You imagine one came through the ice all rainbow colored? Surprised we haven't seen any of those yet. A rainbow unicorn.
Isn't that nice?
No. My friend had texted me some time ago, and I said, what is with the rainbow unicorn? He goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send you that FAGGY unicorn. That was an accident. I said, I was starting to wonder, why am I attracted to lesbians in the porn world? I don't want to watch a man do a woman. Have you ever watched that? It's like a criminal scene. It's all about the man. And he just does a jackhammer operation. That's it. But two women, the way they fondle and kiss and when they get moved is unbelievable to me. Highly erotic. Highly erotic. Mike, that's acting. I know the difference between acting. I know the fake ones. I don't watch the fake ones, but I know the ones where they're really getting into it. And what has happened in our society, and the church doesn't want to talk about this. Just me talking about this will have Christians going, coronary alert. Do I need to put a defibrillator paddles in my house here when I do YouTube? Every Christian enjoys certain sins. Let me say that again. Every pastor, every Christian enjoys certain sins. They just leave off. This is American, plastic veneer society. We're going to pretend that we don't do these things anymore. Okay. That's why the church is not growing at all. Do you know why lesbianism has risen? Women get more out of that than men do with the gay thing. Women are very emotionally driven. Women have one bad experience from an uncle, a dad, a cousin, a husband, a boyfriend, and they'll take their ball and run and lick their wounds right into a lesbian world. We men have a bad relationship with my mother, with wife 1, 2, 3, and all the girls I've dated, and we still keep trying. We don't just swing to gay. We don't. The first time I was in high school, and my friend Paul brought a Playboy, He gave it to me. I give it to Tom. Tom was a Mormon, so he couldn't bring that in the house. He had a hill behind the house he called Smut Hill, where he hid it. Till his brother and sister, Misha and whatever, found it. I said, oops. Should have hid your stash better, dude. And I saw two blonde women in beautiful Playboy fashion pictures and steamy, provocative poses. I was like, wow. And I wasn't a Christian then, but I was like, wow, this is really, really erotic. And I felt guilt. Over the years, this has become a reality in our country and around the world. In India, women are suddenly being turned on to each other. In Japan, women are finding, it's a global thing. Muslim, burqa wearing women, when their husbands go, are grinding against each other. Why is this happening? Well, couple of reasons. Our world is getting bored. Relationships are hard. We are sinners. Number one, all sin and fall short of the glory of God. And many of you listening may go, that's gross. I'm not into bumping clams. I'm not into bumping clams either. I've never seen two clams bump. But I admit, there's an erotic fascination with two women being passionate, especially if they're good looking. Why? It's erotic art to me. It's wrong in God's eyes, but it's erotic art. And I turned off the chat because I'm just not going to deal with it. There's too much interruption, too much stuff. And you got guys that will condemn me for this. You know how many people at church play a Sunday game? And it really is old. It's 2026 and we still play these Sunday games. Why is that? Why do we play this game? Why do we pretend that we're holy? Why is it men and women will be silent and don't want to talk about their vices? Because they're scared. They're scared to be judged less than Christian. I got news for you, folks. You can paint a school bus green. You can take all the school bus seats out of it. You can get a welder and remove half the windows and design it to look like a motorhome, but it's always going to be, or was, a school bus. You can convert it into something, but it was made as a school bus. When you become a Christian, you are a Christian whether you're living in sin or not. When you got saved, you're saved. When you became a Christian, you're a Christian. And clowns get on and say, you call yourself a Christian and you just admitted to doing it. Yes, I did. I love certain sins and I hate others. I hate drug addiction, hate violence. I don't like Don Lemon and the Democrats and what they're doing. But I love to watch two pretty women removing each other's bras and kissing. Why am I wrong for being brutally honest? You know how many Catholic priests have heard confessions and they're sitting on the other side of that booth going, come on now. I don't go to a priest. I go to my great high priest. And I've told God, you know what I am. You see what you see. I can't hide it. And Christians, and this is what I'm going to say, this is foundational to victorious Christian living. This is something we need to get right now. And this is a Mike Nelson original. I didn't get this from anybody else. It is amazing the depths that Christians and society will go to avoid something when other people, let me say that again, people are watching or might find out about it. But we do it before God and we have no concern We're more worried about what Susie or Dave thinks than the Almighty. We say we believe in God. You're looking at porn. The only thing separating us from God is a ceiling. Well, he's got x-ray vision, buddy. When you're doing whatever you're doing, God's right there. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. You're bringing Jesus to your affair. You're bringing Jesus to your premarital sex. You're bringing Jesus right in the middle of your dogging people online and being rude. Did that ever occur to you? Of course it didn't. Because really, the warp and woof of a human being is we care more about what others think than God. That moves us. That is the tugboat that pushes the massive liner off course. A tugboat's just got to move that liner one degree, and that changes the direction of travel. How many of us Christians live in the back of our mind or the forefront of our mind, concerned about what other people think? I've done it all my life. So I speak. I bought the t-shirt, the pants, the shoes, the socks. If it was Nike, I'd be wrapped in a Nike bag. I think it's awesome to see two women passionately letting loose on each other that are beautiful and embracing, and their skin coming in. You know why I think it's beautiful? Because I can't have that with a woman. And why is that? Is it because of these? Is it because of my hair? Is it because I wear a girl's top? Is it because I wear this? Women today in America have really done a San Andreas Grand Canyon Gulf shift. And the only people that don't realize it are simps. If you don't believe me, look at social media. If you had a woman with my physique, but she had some, breast, okay, she's going to automatically get thousands more views than me. Money donated at her because of the lust factor. Not content, not intelligence, because of the lust factor. I don't get that privilege. Even gay men are not going to pay me, if I had a OnlyFans, the way men would pay women. Gay men are cheap. Men that are in heat with women will throw their entire life savings down the toilet for a woman. And those same men get on and judge me for wearing, oh my gosh, wearing a woman's top. Isn't that something? They'll judge me for that. But they don't look at their own sorry selves. They don't look at their own simp, beta, silly, cowardly. You are owned by a woman even if you don't have her. Self. And then you think you're a man. Michael comes on the internet wearing this, and those betas suddenly want to get alpha. Why are you dressed like that? Because I don't care what you think. That's why. I'm not here to get your attention and make you ask me out. And the people that criticize me for dressing like this, none of them are contributing financially to the channel ever. And they set themselves up that I'm the one that I'm under their board. That's my board or my cabinet or whatever. And I'm like, this is my channel. I'll dress as I want to. But what about women? If a woman gets on YouTube wearing this, if I was female and I was flat like I am, if I was female, lipstick, I had the full feminine features and I was a ginger, do you know how many guys, oh my gosh, I love ginger. Oh, you're so talented. She's not doing anything. She's sitting there going like this. Hi guys, hi. I cannot believe how many men allow that phallic thing between their legs to dictate their life. I can't believe how many men will get on my channel judging the way I dress. Is that your job, man? Why are you worried about what I'm dressing in? Why would you even notice? And I've said it before, but then you'll date women that wear cargo pants, a hoodie, and a ball cap and look like one of the guys. Why is that? Isn't that a dichotomy? Isn't that double standard? So I have a little bit of a feminine side, but do you see my arms? Do you see my chest? I'm going to be 60 in a month and some change. And I think I've done well. And I'm proud of my body. And I don't care if you like what I wear or not. I like what I like. And there are some men and women that like me the way I am. And you know what? Here's the bottom line. When I get to the point where I do what Christ wants, to the heck with everybody else, then I've finally arrived. Did you hear me? Let me say it again, as they say down here in the South. Let me say it again. When I get to the point where I am in tune with Christ, my Lord, to the disregard, chagrin, and angst of others, and do what he wants, then I have arrived. Not everything I do pleases the Lord. How many Christians judge me for the way I dress, but they are not friendly, they're not nice, they look down their nose at everybody that isn't. You've got the dress barn gals, the overweight dress barn, dyed their hair blonde, lots of makeup, coming to church, talking about their doggy, talking about their coffee. And they look at me and they got this disdain for me. I don't come in wearing this. Like, wow, what? Why do they think that they're better than me? I haven't even said or done anything, and I just feel that judgment. It's funny that they're not convicted about that ever. But boy, they'll get on me for this. Let's talk about the lesbian dynamic. So I have a sex drive, and I've struggled with guilt all my life, even before I was a Christian. I started climbing those poles in elementary school, and I was like pulling my legs up. What was that? Let me do that again. I don't know what that was, but that felt so good down in there, that tingly. Nobody told me about puberty. I hate that word, by the way. Puberty. Pubic. Gross. And then women got in an argument on my channel. Did you know this is not pubic hair under here? They said it's auxiliary hair. Are you serious? How come this hair comes in the same time this hair? Pubic. Puberty. And they call it auxiliary hair. Oh, is that like when you buy a car with the options? So silly. It's pubic hair. No, it isn't. It's pubic hair. But it's pubic hair. And I don't like it on women. Men should never be allowed to wear shirts like this with a forest under their arms. And you stand in the store and you take a whiff of that, or the bikers that got the ape hangers. Gross. Gross. Nasty. I do not, that is one thing I say, and this is where we get into free will. God made hair to grow under there. Why did he do that? I don't like it. But why did he make fire ants? I hate them. Why did he make termites? I hate them. Why did he make mosquitoes? I hate them. Why did he make venomous snakes and poison ivy and all that? What is the purpose of all that? I have no idea. Why did he put hair? I don't know men face to face that can look me in the eye and say, oh, I love a woman with hairy armpits. I remember I was in Yahoo chat and the ID would show up in the room. I love women with hairy armpits was the ID. And all I did was say, look, I love women with hairy armpits, just came in the room. Immediately said, I love women with hairy armpits, left the chat. Oh, I offended somebody. Hairy armpits on a woman is, I'm lazy and I'm scuzzy and I did not want to show good hygiene. And then people ask me, why do you shave? Well, I like to wear a lot of sleeveless shirts. I don't like hair under my arms. So I get rid of it. People think when they see me dressed this way that I'm open to men. No, I'm not. There's no man living in my house. I'm not dating man. I don't want to. I've been honest. I've said I've had experiences with other men, not full blown homosexual like you think of with the whole, anal and all that. No. And I can look back and I know why these things happen in my life. I had a domineering, abusive mother, a passive father. I had 3 sisters and no brothers. And today, because I've had to learn to adapt, most Christians are out there when they want to go on a date, they got their hands under their shirt and they do premarital sex. And I said on my channel, dating really isn't right. But our Hollywood and our culture promoted it. And even Christian churches encourage it. Dating leads to mating. We try that car, I'm not really, bye-bye. And the girl's hurt. That's the way that goes. And I've learned it doesn't matter what I do. The need to touch myself and relieve myself is there every day. And I did. I went one day, actually 2 days, not looking at stuff. Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. I'm struggling with it. I get a deeper orgasm when I look at that, 2 women, than I do the actual idea of me being with a woman, because I've been with enough women in my life. American women are the worst when it comes to intimacy. Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Man, I just got on top of you. That is a cock blocker. Are you done yet? And I said it. When I lived in Asia, women were more sensual. They were sweeter. Man, they turned my crank like nobody business. And that could happen if I went to Africa. That could happen if I went to the Philippines. That could happen if I was in Japan with a woman. Not here. Women dangle themselves out here like they're little ornaments on a tree. Problem is, the wind blows, they fall off, they're easy to break, they're fragile, everything bothers them, everything offends them, they're too sensitive, and now you got to go to church, and as a man, you're told that it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and we all got to be little soy boys when we approach the girls now. We're not allowed to be men, we're not allowed to be the head of our house, we're not allowed to be just who we are. We got to change our masculinity to be feminine when we approach these women, or else. And if we do one little thing wrong, you don't get the date. You don't get the mate. And she'll shut the bedroom door to you while you're married to her. I'm stating a fact. And it makes sense to me that women really should go after other women, even though the Bible calls it unnatural. I struggle with that. Lesbian women seem to do well together. Really. I've heard them tell me, oh no, a woman knows how to please a woman. Well, you go, girl. The Bible talks about passionate lust. I have it. Gays have it. Lesbians have it. The Christian with his girlfriend from the same church, on Sunday morning, they act like they're so righteous. Now they got their clothes off and they're passionate. What I've learned is taboo is exciting. Doing the right thing, well, not so much. Those things we cannot have are more desirable, just like the fruit on the tree in the garden. I don't believe that 2 women marrying each other is going to go problem-free any more than a heterosexual marriage. It doesn't. In fact, if one of the women decides she wants to leave that, she could get killed by that other woman. Very dangerous stuff. Gays, I knew guys at the steam bath, they were married and they were fooling around with all the other men. So obviously, monogamy doesn't exist any better with them than it does with hetero, does it? I always say, well, if you're going to reinvent the wheel and think it's okay to have a gay relationship, why are you going to be faithful? You already broke God's laws. That's what's happening with this whole illegal thing in the U.S. The protesters are protesting ICE. ICE was hired a long, long time ago to do the job of securing our borders. And because the Democrats that they voted in let them flood in, and now they want to protest ICE. Protest the leaders you voted in that let them all come in. You're protesting the wrong end of the shtick, people. And I've said it. Renee and her lover were not what I would say were beautiful people. They weren't. Both of them, just on a emotional level, were not good. I would not enjoy being friends with those two. There's nothing I could extract intellectually from that kind of a union. And those people are very judgmental and hostile to us. Make no mistake about it, the militant LGBT is an enemy of God, is an enemy of conservatism. Now, there are gays and lesbians that voted for Trump. There are Christian men and women that struggle with homosexual desires. Do you know why it's on the rise? It is normal for a man to look at a pretty woman and notice her. Now we're being branded for that. Women get on YouTube, they go to the gym, and they'll sit there in their skimpy bustier top, and the men will turn around and look, he's watching me. Oh my gosh, men are pigs. Really? Now you're going to shame men because you walked in there dressed like you're headed into the bedroom for an evening of fun, and a man who's operating on biology notices your body, which is why you're dressed that way, and now you're going to shame us. I live with a lot of guilt because I don't measure up, even as a Christian, to God's perfect standard. I don't at all. And I've come to the conclusion, you know what? This isn't something. There are Christians who believe you can attain to spiritual sinless perfection in this earth. I said, you cannot. And if you set people up to believe that, they will just literally become cold towards Christ eventually. They'll go, man, I can't do it, so I'm just going to check out. They're saved, but their passion, the light in them has just, because the church is doing a disservice. I have passion for the word. I have passion for ships in the sea. I also have passion for the sin that I love. Makes sense, right? But so do you. So do you. I notice a lot of women have a passion for superficiality. I don't understand that. I get nothing out of superficial people. Zero. I would love to be able to take black and white photos of two women embracing each other in their beautiful bodies against each other and hang it in my living room. Mike, yes, I think it's beautiful. Is wrong. Eros, man. Eros. And it's not three loves. There's more than three loves. I forgot all the other ones, but there's like 5 or 7 of them. I hate to say it, but most Christians aren't honest. Men included have eros love more than any other love. We don't have phileo. We do not have agape. Let me say this. I'm going to tell you something that to actually find women that have agape love, I think it'd be easier to find men that have agape love for somebody more than women. That shocks you, I'm sure, but it's what I've observed. Women love somebody for something that they can exploit or get. And that goes for the same in the church. You see that really good looking one with that guy that's not so handsome? She'll say, oh, I love him. He's a godly man. You love him for his bank account. Now quit your lying. I think most of the marriages in the church are a sham. It's Mr. Rogers. Let's enter the land of make-believe. I know. I've seen it. Fighting in the car. I'm in my truck. They don't see me in my truck. It's the way they parked. I got a topper, but I can see it. I'm like, boy, they're really going at it in there. And you walk into church and then you see them. Hi, Mike. How are you? I'm all right. How are you? I'm doing well. I don't want to say, yeah, I saw that fight y'all had in the car. That was beautiful. Liar. The church beats up people for getting a divorce. And if a man gets a divorce today and he's brought the house and the money into the relationship, he's afraid to leave because he'll get roto-rooted and cleaned out. So people have a coexistence only out of survival. Why do you think guys get into their hobby car, women get into their break-a-back because their marriage sucks? And they got their little closet addictions to go to that consume them, and then they come together on Sunday morning to maintain that they're a happily married couple. Whatever. So if people are offended that I confess I like certain erotic stuff, I'm honest. I've tried all different ways, but I can't deny what I like. And the problem is most Christians in the church today are taught how to play a game. Okay, that's what the corporate world teaches you. That's what a call center teaches you to do. You got to have the empathy line. I'm sorry, that can be really frustrating. You got to be told to show empathy. You got to be, listen to this. You want to talk about funky in a church? Every church I've been to, except this one, they like to say, we need people to greet. We're asking for people to volunteer to be greeters. What is this, Walmart? Really? Greeters. We got to ask people to be greeters, to please be greeters. Why? Because most Caucasian churches in the U.S., nobody will get out of their comfort zone and say, hey, how are you? They won't do it. They're fake. They're plastic. They're rude. How about that one? Can we just say it? Rude. Women today, in America especially, I don't want to say hi to somebody, so I don't have to because that is my choice. So somebody holds the door open for you or somebody says good morning and you ignore them. And then you're going to tell everybody how much you're into Jesus Christ. But then you'll judge me for my clothing. That's rich. Got a blind spot much? Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid. And I talk about this. Your video is not acting up. I'm walking through a long, dark corridor in my house. I say things the way they need to be said, and a lot of people don't round this stuff out this way. I get a lot of criticism because I step on a lot of feet. And I've learned that a lot of the criticism is a way for people to project and avoid or deflect the truth that I'm speaking. I talk about the truth of me. I'm admitting I would love to see beautiful, two long-haired, perfume-drenched women going at it with each other because it's beautiful to watch. Because when you go to church on Sunday morning, where's the passion? It's not there. Going to a mall, do you see passion? Going to Starbucks, do you see passion? Look at the dress barn dressed women, do you see passion? So guess what? When you don't have passion in people, and then you see the passion between two women naturally getting into each other, I'm right there. I've said it many times. If I had a woman and she was my wife, and she loved me, and there was no danger of us, and she wanted to enjoy the passion with her friend, I would say go for it. Mike, that is so wrong. Of course it is. But this is what we do. Two people get married. You masturbated. You looked at porn. Well, you're being rude to me and you're overspending. And they both got their little addictions going and they're both judging each other. Nobody's getting better. Nobody's changing. Now it's the power struggle. Now the woman's beating up the man because she caught him looking at something. Why wouldn't he? Have you ever looked in the mirror? You let your body go to hell. Okay? You let your body go to hell. And now you're nasty to him. He goes to work every day, deals with the crap at work, and he can't please you. And you got all you and your bad habits just hanging out in the house all day. Wow, hubba hubba, baby. Do you think I care what these kind of Christians think about Michael M. Nelson? No, I don't. Why would I? Why should I? Quote the Bible upside down, backwards and forwards, do it in pig Latin. I don't care. I am man enough to admit, if God himself doesn't do his work in my life, then guess what? I'm not his child. When I heard a pastor at Calvary Belmar in Lakewood years ago say, fake it until you make it, to the congregation, his sermons didn't really grab me, but boy, that caught my attention. I said, fake it until you make it, huh? Is that what Jesus Christ came? He walked on the Sea of Galilee. Come, I will make you fake fishers of fake men. I love it when Jesus cooked a fish and said, here, eat some food, guys. God scares me and attracts me at the same time. I'd love to be walking around on a mountain and God, you see something weird and you go to inspect and God says, Mike, take your shoes off. Huh? Yeah, it's me, God. Take your shoes off. Yes, okay. I'd love to be down by a brook and have birds bring me food. I'd love to live in a cave on Mount Horeb and feel the presence of God in such a way that that cave feels just great. I'd like to see the hand of God the way the prophets did. I'd love to be standing on the mountain when the Baal worshipers came up there and they're cutting themselves and doing their Devo Whippet punk rock dance, yelling and screaming and begging God. And Elijah says, why don't you call him a little louder? Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's on vacation, man. But watch this. People judge Michael. They judge me for my sin. They judge me. Watch this. Elijah, he just simply says, okay, you guys are done. You've been at this for hours. It's getting hot up here and I'm done with this foolishness. Boys, fill all them pitchers. Okay, these pitchers that they were bringing up weren't one of these. These things were big jugs. They had a drought. On the mountain, where'd they get this water from? He built an altar and put the sacrifice on it and the wood. Dumped the water on the altar. Do it again. Do it again. The water filled the trench. This wasn't some little furrow between crop rows. This was a trench. Why was there a trench around the altar? I don't know. But the water was running lavishly all over everything. And Elijah just said, God, and I'm going to paraphrase this, okay? God, show these clowns who you are. Please. All you women and men out there, if you saw that, that'd freak you out. That fire, that kind of glory came down and licked up the sacrifice, burned all the water and lapped up everything, including the stones. Oh, now the Baal worshipers had a moment. Wow, the Lord, he is God. And Elijah said, to a sword to them all. Talk about drama. You see God, and now we got bloodshed, we got everything. God moved, God showed up at the party, And Elijah should have had every reason to walk off of that mountain straight into the air and say, I just saw God show up. Oh no. Jezebel's messengers came to him and said, may your life be like one of these. And Elijah went and fled into the wilderness. He just saw God and he fled. He was scared. He said, oh God, it's better for me that I die. I don't care what you people on YouTube think about me. I care about what God thinks about me, but it still hasn't been enough to transform me. And it hasn't been enough to transform any of you watching me. Don't lie to me or yourselves. You're so wrapped up in American culture, you don't know what God is. You think you do. I got my problems, but this works. If I want to try something, even if it's wrong, I do. I don't recommend playing in traffic and doing dumb things like that. But if I want to wear a skimpy top, so what? There are greater evils in this world. I don't agree with a lot of stuff in church, but I ain't going to walk in there and do a protest. Don Lemon. I don't agree with a lot of things cops and our government does, but I ain't going to stand up and make a scene in front of federal agents. This world needs Jesus. I need Jesus. I'm so sick of the scripture skid mark queens and kings that get on my channel. One woman was really nasty. Don't tell me by the Bible that you can grow your hair long. Don't tell me you can dress full of hatred and everything. Wow, you're really representing the gospel, aren't you? You're really representing that you've been set free in hell. The love of God flowing through your veins. You know what? Most women that judge me are as harsh as hell. They do not exhibit the fruit of the Spirit. They're mean, they're hateful, they're nasty, and they hide behind the Word of God. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. 2 Timothy 3. Hello? Do I have your attention now? I tell you what, I struggle with love. I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't. It isn't my mother. It isn't one of these damn trolls on here ever. And this point on, any nasty, rude comment, if I do chat, hide, you're done. You want your freedom of speech, get it once, and then it's taken away. Because people like you are the reason this country is in the problem it is. And that goes for Christians. There are Christian trolls on here. Let's quote scripture upside down and backwards for this guy. Jesus loves you. Jesus died for you. Did you listen to any of my content? You would know that I'm a Christian. The Apostle Paul talked to the church at Corinth. It's very interesting to notice something about that. The church at Corinth was really acting bad. Brethren, these things ought not to be. He scolded them for some bad behavior, getting drunk at the Lord's Supper, lawsuits among believers. One of the guys was bragging about doing his mother-in-law, or whatever the heck it was, stepmom, and that was all at the church of Corinth in the first book of Corinthians. Paul didn't say you're all lost. He said, I could not come to you with meat, but I had to come with you with milk because you're babies, you're infants in Christ. Other times I act spiritually immature, you better believe it. Other times when most women in America that claim to be Christians are babies in Christ, I'd say most women in the church today are a joke. They're delusional because, one, they're entitled, they're narcissists, they're very materialistic, and they have a poor ability to do a self-actualization. I recognize deficits in my life, growing up, abused, and the scars, and everybody comes out, you had trauma. That's why you're dressed like this. I dress like this because I want to. I think it feels sexy. I admit that I like watching two beautiful lesbian women. Folks, I don't know when you're all going to learn something, but it exists in women all around the world. Why do women brush and play with each other's hair? You can say whatever you want, but deep down inside, there's some chemistry going on. That's why. Do you ever see two men playing with each other's hair? No, you don't. But Mike, women, don't lie. Don't lie. You know what I'm getting at. Women giggle at the dumbest things. The dumbest things. We got these southern women in our church that are not attractive. Their husbands won't come with them. I wouldn't want to be with them at home or in church. But our church is a little harsh. You got a curmudgeon man being, take your day job, Mike, take your day job, when I told an appropriate joke to the pastor's wife that she laughed at. And my problem is I've been so affected by our toxic culture, I should have turned around and said, was I even talking to you, sir? Answer the question. I don't appreciate your rudeness to me. I came here to church to worship, and you just set me off. Don't bother me. And I have to learn as a man that when something bothers me, I need to say, hey, you know what? I really didn't need your comment. I wasn't talking to you. And then you said it 3 or 4 times, very curmudgeon. Get away from me, Satan. Get away from me. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these trolls come on here with such self-righteousness. They're going to boss me and tell me, there really is something wrong with you. You need to get therapy. No, I don't. Not at all. I think it's interesting this country has more people going to psychologists, and they don't come out any better after a trip to that office than they do on my channel. At least my channel helps people. The psychologists charge you for a bunch of psychobabble, and you come out, and guess what? They don't teach you how to stay out of their office. They teach you to keep coming back and paying them exorbitant money so they can live in their gated community and tell you what's wrong with you and how you need to fix it. A true child of God gives you something that you can use so that you can learn to, in God, with the word, apply, and you don't need to depend on somebody else to be your shrink. I think I'm very well adjusted in spite of the crap I've been through. I think I'm not delusional. I think with what I've been through, I would have had every reason to become a mass shooter. I would have had every reason to be that. That's not in me, praise God. Shoot, I went through way more than Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold ever did in their life. They got bullied in high school. I was bullied by everybody in school. I didn't think about getting a gun and going stupid. That Klebold and Harris did not. They grew up in a very wealthy families, and their parents were silent after that. I know what went on over there. Parents who were not involved, parents that spoiled their kids, didn't pay attention to what they were doing. And when you spoil the child and spare the rod, school shootings take place in America. They needed a good butt whipping. But the schools don't do anything to stop bullying either. I drove school bus. You have a conservative belief, them teachers will gang up on you. Go to college and watch a so-called pseudoscience professor ridicule a Christian that says, I don't believe in this evolution. Bullying. Then what does it say on a job application? Will not discriminate based on creed, ethnicity. Oh, the colleges do it all day long. Let's talk about this media, shall we? Does the media hire conservative white Christian men to be at the news desk? Never, ever. Does the school system in America hire conservative male Republican Christians in the schools to be teachers? Never, ever. You want to talk about discrimination? It's coming from the very people that tell us that we're discriminating. Projecting? The Democrats own the word projecting. They are the great movie projector. They own Hollywood, they own all the communications, and they're telling all of us what's wrong with us when they are guilty of all of the above. So I wear a woman's shirt. How many people get on here and are as bold as me about my faith without doing all the polish and the BS? How many? Count them. You got these suit and tie people that are going to have their corner on the Bible study. They're not being genuine. They're not going to put any of themselves out there. It's easy. It's easy for people to get on YouTube and have this smooth, polished channel. You got guys, they'll have a news clip of something. They're in the corner of the screen going, and the news clip's playing, and then they'll give their 5-second armchair expert opinion. These channels are blowing up. Wow, that's not original content. We don't know who you are. You're not talking about you. Yeah, this channel is not like everybody else's. Praise the name of God. I use it because I like to talk. I don't do this to get attention. I do it because I like it. And to all the Christian men and women that want to continue to harp on me, go find something constructive to do. You don't keep coming back and going bang, 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 and expecting different results. You don't like my brand of Christianity? I've never distorted that word. Never. I'm open about the free will that I have. Sometimes I don't reflect Jesus. Most of us are cracked mirrors. The image is somewhat tainted. Why do we do everything we can to deny that? Is that what being a Christian is all about? Is playing a fake ASS game? If you look at most Americans, they're modeling that every day. Dress barn clothing, dress barn Christian music that nobody listens to in their vehicles, nobody listens to at home. Yeah, you know, I'm different. You darn right I am. Am I dysfunctional? Yep, sure am. Do I have scars? Yep. Do I have PTSD? No, I didn't go fight in a war. I was abused, but I wouldn't call it PTSD. Scars, yeah. I'm not going to play the victim like some people get on here and they love victim status. They live for that. They'll post all over their social media, a victim of abuse and spouse abuse and this and this and this and this and this. What are you doing with that today, ladies? Whining, fussing, victim? What are you doing? Are you making lemonade out of the lemons? I am. I talk about things. I talk about me. I would love to see two beautiful women make love together. I would love to watch it. I don't have to be part of it. I would love to write about it. Because I've noticed something. Our society is so broken that people learn to adapt. When you can't get normal, what you need, you're going to go try to find it somewhere else. And this is the problem of churches and sites and all the other nitwits that troll all over YouTube, is they want to point at something in me that's a symptom, and they don't try to understand the problem that created that. Every action has a reaction. And because I can't get a good-looking date, and then you're told you can't masturbate or adulterate or fornicate, but yet you've got a roaring sex drive that will not go away, there is no steam valve that you can turn to the left or the right and turn that off. And the church lies to us, and the church tells us, you can have victory. Every Man's Battle by Steve Arterburn charged $20 for his book, supposedly having the answer. I read it. It doesn't work. No, folks. No. And somehow when we became a Christian, you're supposed to deny that you're a human being. Well, you're a new creation now, Michael. What does that look like? Did you read the book of 1 Corinthians? Did you read where Paul says about two women, I urged them to get along with each other. They were bickering back and forth. Christian women going, Paul dealt with a lot of stuff. The church criticized him. Many of you said he's not anything, he's not much. Paul was not gifted with good looks. He had small stature, he had eyesight problems. And the church says, oh, he speaks tough. But when you see him, he's really nothing. And Paul says, really? Well, when I come to you in person, I will spare nothing, man. I've tried to care for you. Paul was trolled and criticized. And I'm not anywhere near close to the Apostle Paul when it comes to how devoted to God he was. I'm devoted to my sin. I'm devoted to my job. I'm devoted to my house. I'm devoted to certain people. I'm devoted to God. But this idea, you sing these stupid little kumbaya songs at church. I just want more of you. And you got these white women that wear dress party clothes with their hands in the air. Oh, oh, oh. Wow, are they having a menstruation or an orgasm? They show no passion in real life towards God or anybody else, but now they're going to raise their hands and make a show in their boring clothing. They have no passion. Man, I saw a black woman at a church here, older but a pretty woman, and she was up there with that tambourine and she was getting down on the stage. I'm like, I wanted to walk up and say, now that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. People judge me for my dancing. I'm not the skilled dancer. I don't think I'm great. I just do it because I'm having fun. Guys have a problem with that. They see that and they all stand around and just see this idiot. Everybody loves to put down Michael because it's easy. But you know what? I remember sitting in the hot tub at the Wheat Ridge Rec Center. Fascinating thing took place. 3 autistic adults were sitting opposite each other in this big hot tub, the jacuzzi. It's not a hot tub, it was a built-in big. You could fit like 20 people in there. And they had this little ball. You toss to the one, toss to the other. I said, look at these guys. They're interacting with each other. They're all autistic. Nobody made fun of them. Nobody. I remember when I picked up a group of autistic adults in Duluth, there was a guy built like Popeye, short and squat, muscles. He had that jaw like Popeye. He'd come out with a sock hanging out of his mouth every day, come on the bus. He'd get in his seat and I'd put a seatbelt on him. I have found that what society labels as retarded is wrongly diagnosed. I have never been made to feel unworthy by handicapped people, ever. Just by those that think they're freaking normal. You can hear this truth talked about by Benny Johnson and Mark Dice and Paul Joseph Watson that are the testosteronic males. And I had somebody threaten me and Trump's my friend, so he got arrested by the FBI. Wow, I wish I had that privilege. You got an 11-year-old troll that's a psychopath. He should be arrested for the harassment and the doxing. And what does Google do? 0. You know what? I don't care what people think about what I wear. I don't care if people look at me and go, he admitted he'd like to see 2 women and would like to have lesbian art in his house. Yes, I would. Because it's real. It's wrong, but it's passionate. I love the picture of 2 women that are comfortable with their bodies and leaning against each other and the outline of their breasts and all that. I think it's beautiful. I do not think that the current church in America is beautiful or passionate or desirable. I drag my carcass to church asking, why am I doing this? Because it says not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. See, we're all about in our country, we've got to obey the laws, dot our I's, cross our T's. There is no passion or life or soul to this. And you all laugh at me, some of you. And you say, I love that old piano piece. Heart and soul. Da-dun, 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 da. When I was a kid, in my hyper-dysfunctional self, when my sister and my cousin would get on that piano side by side and belt that out, this boy that grew up with, all he grew up with, felt a little bit of heaven. I said, I love that piano piece. Even my sister and my cousin who had their own problems, when they played that, That resonated within me. Go to church today. What do you get? Dress barn women, dress barn clothing, and sermons that make all the men feel guilty about how we don't measure up. And the women are never convicted. They come in the same, they go out the same, they drive like idiots, they cut everybody off. They're going to go talk about their doggy, and talk about their Starbucks, talk about their SUV. And a woman got offended when I was saying that on the channel and made a rude comment to me in Discord, and I haven't had a message from her since. Bye, Felicia. If you can't handle some constructive critique, and I wasn't even directed at you, but if the shoe fits, put it on, baby, and walk with rocks in it. Because you know what? I'm tired. I've tried my whole life to please my mother, tried to please the teacher and the preacher and the bosses and everything else. It's a waste of time. Yeah, I know the Bible. Make no provision for the flesh. I don't need to. Christians, society, church, work, the roadways, they do it for me. I need a stress relief. You go out there, you try to act right, you're pounded, pummeled, and tortured, you know, all the crap that comes against you. Yeah, I'm going to end my day with a good orgasm, even if it's just fantasy. Most people are smoking pot and drinking, Christians drinking, smoking weed, doing Oxycontin, opioids, drugs. Women are addicted to materialism and spending. It's a drug. Women are addicted to showing off them. They cannot get enough likes and hearts. They can't stop it. And nobody talks about those things. They just come onto Michael's channel. There's something wrong with this guy. There is. But so it is with you. At least, I admit it. I'm not going to be ashamed of my body. Why should I? Look at this. 59. Then you grown men that want to get in here and talk about my top, I'm sorry, you're too embarrassed to show off your pot nut and your white hairy chest and your moves. Don't come on and talk about me. I'm happy with the body I got. You don't like what I wear, don't watch my channel. Boom! Simple, simple, simple advice. If you just follow it, problem solved. Come on here and leave your little brown skid marks all over my channel with your negative comments. That doesn't change me. It used to. I used to wag, somebody doesn't like it, I better stop this. Somebody's offended, I better stop this. But when somebody offends or wrongs me, Mike, that's just the way he is. Mike, that's just the way she is. Mike, you're too sensitive. You're too sensitive, Mike. Yep. Michael has to change everything. Nobody else has to change a thing. I get the message. So I've come back swinging. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Calls it like I sees it. Doesn't beat around the bush. If a woman, a man, a Christian, a Trump supporter, Democrat, Ilhan Omar is offended at what I say, yes, good, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Most preachers can't do that. They convict those for being natural. They teach us by condemning for us to go into the closet with our sin, to go to church, I'm doing well. Welcome to corporate American churches. Pastor beats up on men for looking at porn and lust, so men are not going to tell anybody. They're not going to tell anybody. Make everybody go underground. Yep, good idea, Pastor. Doesn't solve the problem, does it? I wear my sunglasses at night. Why? Most Christians wear sunglasses in church. They can't see their own damn selves. But then I come in there and I feel like a little lamb walking in amongst the wolves, and they're going, oh, look at here. let's put our teeth into this. Because people have a problem with my channel because I say things that convict them. And instead of admitting that, look at the way you're dressed. Look at this. I do look at it. I was shamed, tried to be shamed by Roof King. He did say a compliment, I like your stuff, but you need to stop this. There's other ways to get attention. What he fails to realize is I was trying to sell this clothing the other night. That didn't happen at all, and I knew that it wouldn't because all these women, all these men that come onto my channel are talkers. Okay? I said that. Boy, here's a way to guarantee the growth of my channel. Insult my people. I'm not insulting those that I communicate with and that give me encouragement. I'm not. But I'm making a point, so bear with me. A lot of people want to tell me how to live and stuff, and nobody wants to throw a dime at this. But you'll go and donate to all this other stuff out there. You tell me you don't hear the word of God preached like this, but that's not worth anything to you, is it? Huh. But you'll pay for all this other foolishness. One woman said that she liked the Ewu channel. Wow. Okay. One woman offered $55 for an article of clothing, but I don't have Cash App. And then poof, disappears. She ain't gonna buy it. People do this stuff to get attention. They get attention in the room and then they... How about that gal Mara? She said she couldn't pay her utility bill, and I did a shout out to her, and the women and me were going to donate. She gave us an ID to go to Cash App. Pulled it up. There was hundreds with that ID. I didn't know which one was hers. I said, hey, which one of them is you? No response. No, ghosted us. Then she made a video yesterday, and I was like, wow, what happened to you? We tried to give, and you just... And then she gave an excuse, well, whatever. Women, and white ones specifically, play a lot of games on here. Oh, I would date you. I want to come and visit you. Now, one flew instead of drove. I understand that. None of them have showed up. None of them are going to show up. And I keep believing. Stupid of me. So ladies, I look at lesbian porn because fantasy's better than reality, because the reality is none of you slender ones are going to date me. I'm not worthy enough for you. I got that. That lesson has been communicated loud and clear to my head. And based on what I'm seeing, I don't think I want to date you. All this game playing, your boring lives, your lives that are just everything that I don't want to be a part of, and people are just nasty and harsh on me. Sucks. Truly sucks. I'm sorry, but I'm human too. And because I'm human, I get mad at things. I lust. That will never, ever go away. And I'm mad enough to admit, I don't think any one woman could marry me and make that go away. It's something that's in us men for I don't know what reason. It just is. And guess what? I got to get up and pull my pants on and go to work every day and be taxed without representation by liberals, blowing all my hard-earned money, raising the taxes on my property to fund a failing school system. Yeah, it's stupid. I don't have any say. I don't have any control over this. I don't believe in rioting and vandalizing things. I used to be a vandal when I was a kid, and I feel bad for that. And you know what? I see an old piece of furniture. I had a woman in the Salvation Army in Denver, Lakewood. It was like a hutch. It was an old radio cabinet. They had ugly brown paint or white paint on it. It had the spindle legs with the cross member and the top open down, flat like a secretary, and had 2 drawers, brass knobs, and I could see, wow, if I put my magic on this, this thing could be beautiful. They wanted $85 for it, and I wanted to get a discount. Lady said, wow, that was a nice piece of furniture, but all that crappy paint. I said, I'm buying it. She goes, why? I said, because I'm going to strip it. Now, that's a lot of work. You know what? Can you imagine a lady telling God, why would you buy Michael Nelson? He's a lot of work. Praise his name. I worked on that piece. I got blisters on my hand. I didn't use a heat gun. I used a scraper. A lot of that paint is shredded right off. Then sandpaper. It was mahogany. And then I found under all that paint these etched lines. And it had a crown mold top. Not mold, but all one piece. I took a black permanent marker. And I took it was a greenish paint. Can't remember the exact color. And I took my gold paint pen. I went around the edge of the cornice. I did the black. And I did the green. And I kept a lot of the wood exposed. And I didn't touch the paint on the legs. The lady that I caretaken for years later when I was renting the duplex, she came and she goes, I want that piece. I said, no. I went to Hibbing, Minnesota after divorce, and I went to move out in 2008. And I thought, gosh, I want this piece, but I cannot fit all this in my truck. I took a loss on that thing. And the only reason I let go of it is an Iron Range woman said, look, I only have so much money and I love that piece. I said, I did that. You did? I said, this thing looked like hell warmed over in Colorado, and I stripped it. I did all the coloring. I shined up the brass knobs. She said, I will never get rid of that. So there's a woman up there somewhere, if she's still alive, that has a piece with my heart all over it. If I could get any piece back, it'd be that one. It looked like something out of India. Yeah, I did it that ornate. I have so much expression in me, and you get around these women in this culture, they're blah. Their clothing is blah. Their music is blah. They're into dogs, which are blah. Their interests are just blah to me. Do you think I care what they think of me? I already know what they think of me. I was raised in that. I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good. Girl, I'm no good. So what if I look at lesbian porn? It meets a need. So what if the pastor or anybody in Christ found out? I'm open before the Almighty God. Who cares what a bunch of lousy, fickle people think? Who cares? Who cares? This is real as it gets. And all these other channels that are blowing up and making money, they aren't doing this. Because when you're vulnerable, you're vulnerable. It's like a beautiful ocean liner. And I've always seen my life that way, that even though you may not believe it, I'm a beautiful ocean liner that God's transforming. I don't got guns on deck. I'm not a battleship. And the minute I come into the ocean, all these U-boats are right there going, ooh, look at that. With all the periscopes, with their torpedo tubes aimed to sink it. That's what I've always felt like in this stupid world. I'm very insecure. And when I walk in public, I don't want to look at the people and the derision and the hatred that I feel and sense dripping from beautiful, nasty American people. And I picture me on some big giant liner with that big bow, the anchor chains, the capstans, the railings, the mast. And I just look out as if though there's a big distance of bow in front of me, and I ignore them all. And I picture the propellers just turning through the ocean. And that's the way I get through my life sometimes. Delusional? No. I use the image of a ship going full speed ahead. Get out of the way, small boats. I'm not stopping. Move. I did a poem years ago on an ocean liner, and that described me. Black hole rising majestically out of the water. Sky is dark, engines strain. In the air, the threat of rain. Warm blazing lights from portholes and windows. Black hole rising majestically out of the water. Superstructure gleaming white. The sun hurries back tonight. That's me. I want to be inside. And I've got my walls up because it's safe. We all have them, don't we? But some of you are so boring in your expression and your life. You died and you're living. No thanks. God can use and has used broken me. And you boring people that judge and condemn me, what are you doing? What are you doing with your brokenness? Hurts people, so you hurt me. The God of this world doesn't want me to have a voice, doesn't want me to speak. The clowns that make their money favoring Trump, favoring the left, whatever side they're on, they ain't going to show themselves. They ain't going to be vulnerable. They ain't going to be transparent. They ain't going to be genuine. They're not going to be sincera without wax. And our whole society is based on that, from corporate America to church to the schoolhouse to everything. I'm tired of it. Man, you don't like what I wear? Get off of my channel and go play ball somewhere else. I don't care what people think of me and my looks and my dress style. Real men and real women come here to hear the content. This country breeds trolls and sarcasm like rabbits. You go to church on Sunday and a guy's being rude to me, and I've never been rude to him. And I'm still somewhere between, should I just visit another church? And then part of me says, no, go back and fight. Walk up and he says anything, say, hey, can I just let you know something? I didn't appreciate your comment last week. I don't want to fight or argue, but that was rude. 3 times, stick to your day job. I wasn't even talking to you. It was very curmudgeon. And just walk. Let him yell. Let him have his little meltdown. Fuck him. I'm tired of this. That's what society's yelled at me all my life, everywhere I go. I chewed out a guy yesterday. Stop telling me to slow down. I won't slow down. I am who I am. And if you don't like it, deal with it. I got stuff to do, and you are hampering me, and I'm tired of it. And I will tell you that come Tuesday, I'm going to talk with the supervisor, and one of us is going to work over here, and one of us is going to work somewhere else in another department, because I'm not going to deal with this. Leave me alone. I didn't have this problem with any of the other people I trained. You are being a butt. So tired of that. Dumb, dumb world. Every day is a trial. Every day is a struggle. It doesn't matter what I do. I go out with a good attitude, kicked in the balls, kicked in the balls, kicked in the teeth, put down, go to church, hit put down, go to work. You see some of your managers aren't doing what they're supposed to do because they don't want to deal with it. So they say what this guy wants to hear, say what I want to hear, and try to keep the peace. Those are called chameleons, and they're dangerous. Be a leader or get off the pot. Years ago, some butt got on the internet and started just calling me all kinds of swear words, making fun of me. Can't even remember his name. Well, now he's got a channel sucking up to big-chested women, and he looks like a guy that'd be partying up and doing beer bobbing at the bar, ripping me to shreds. And I said, I don't even know who you are, and you are just rude. And you're criticizing everything about me. Have you ever looked in the mirror at yourself? You're not the kind of a guy that the women are going to fawn all over. So you might want to go easy. Hagmar and Celine. That one. A blowhard. His channel blew up because he ain't going to let himself be known, but he's acting like a rude yuck. And I listened to one of his videos once. I said, he doesn't have anything going here. No wonder the world likes him. 100% nothing. I've had all kinds of people just rip and criticize. There was a woman named Deshia Coleman. I tried to recommend everybody watch her. She was all nice. Then she started criticizing me. I don't approve of Michael. He's got a problem with lust, and he this and that, and he's a lightning rod. And I said, wow, Deshia, I did nothing but praise your channel as a black woman and get people to watch you because I like. Then the last time I saw her a few years ago, she was not doing any more commentary, but was singing. The views weren't there. And now I think the channel's gone because she wanted to be a little narcissist and nobody was falling for it. And she's gone. It's amazing how many people come and gone that were horrible. There was a guy that came on and said I was molesting children. That's why I was a school bus driver. Well, when Google actually did something, I filed a complaint. And within 24 hours, his whole channel was ripped off the air. And other people said, Mike, Minner People's channel's gone. I said, I know. Did you see the video he made of me, calling me by name? I had 3 channels pulled off the air until the 11-year troll came. Then they did nothing. Doxing, threatening, death threats, taking a picture of the house and putting it on YouTube. Google has changed. It's open persecution against the truth. Welcome to 2026. And this year has already dawned, telling us it's not looking good. Look at what's going on in Minneapolis. Oh, well, the DOJ is going to prosecute DOJ. Is anything going to happen to Mr. Lemon? No. Because people in shameless or shameful lifestyles got a pass and a privilege card that I don't have. Women got more privilege than I do all across this land. LGBT and that kid that was ripping on my channel the other got more privilege, more hall pass than I do. Yep, that's what I'm up against. The powers of hell. And then even other Christians that get angry that I'm not just like them. I gotta go. We could go on this for hours. But you know what? I'd rather see 2 passionate women enjoy exploring each other than this crap that I just talked about. I'm tired of going to church and there is zero fire, zero passion. I'm tired of it. We're not changing. We're not seeing it. And you wonder why people are getting into sin. Do you know why America is the biggest porn producer in the world? Because we've been taught to be fake. And women are that way in the bed. And they're that way in a marriage. In fact, most women are not into a relationship where they give a crap about the man. It's about what they can get out of it, not what they can bring to it. They think because they got looks that we should be satisfied and not say anything else. Over my dead body. Women are going to get equal opportunity criticism just as much as anybody else, including myself on this channel. I'm an equal opportunity critic.